Hi, I've got something very special for you today, especially the vintage computer aficionados. What do you think of when you think of the world's first desktop computer? A lot of people will say, it was the Apple one. If you know your computer history, you'll say, oh no, it's the Altair 8800 from 1974. The Apple one, that was in 76. No, the Altair. But for those who might know a bit more history, you might go, oh no, it was the HP 9100A in 1968. That was the world's first desktop personal computer, but nope. In fact, HP paid an $800,000 patent infringement lawsuit they settled for $800,000 to this bad boy from 1965. Check this out. Yes, I have one in my lab. It is the Olivetti Programma 101. This is from 1965. This is the world's first desktop computer. And if you don't believe me, here's the ad for it from 1965. Roll the tape.
Mr. Johnson, this is the computer center. So sorry to call you this late, but the computer is available if you want to get your urgent work done.
This man is working against time, computer time. Why? Because there are not enough computer facilities available today. So important research projects can't get off the ground. Some computers are fully booked for months ahead. Highly paid men and women have to spend hours on routine computations. Until today. Today, these expensive and frustrating delays are no longer necessary. Because Olivetti have developed Programma 101, the world's first desktop computer. The Programma 101 is compact. The Programma 101 is portable. The Programma 101 sells at a fraction of the cost of a large computer. Yet the Programma is a true digital computer. It can be programmed to perform complex operations with the speed and efficiency of a large machine. To the businessman, the Olivetti Programma can be used where it is needed, when it is needed, in the office or at home. The Programma is efficient and so simple that a good secretary can learn to operate it in a matter of days. To the civil engineer, the Programma means that long and difficult computations can be carried out immediately on site. For the Programma is robust, easily transported, and easily set up. In industry, the Programma can be used for quality control, for stock control, and for giving warning of increases in failure rates. The Programma also has an important role as a sidearm for the large computer user, in program writing, for example, and to test new methods. In commerce, the Programma has many uses. Here, for example, is a family about to buy a new house. The Programma can be used to compute the mortgage repayments, interest rates, and the life assurance statistics. This secretary is selecting one of the basic categories of program from Olivetti's vast library. Note the magnetic card on which the program has been prepared, enabling the user to store the answers to repetitive problems. The low cost and versatility of the Programma make it ideal for students specializing in computer technology. Even a small technical college can afford to equip itself with a Programma 101 laboratory. This means that for the first time, it's possible for every student to graduate with practical experience in the use of a digital computer. The Programma 101 offers unlimited possibilities in research and science. Whilst there are computations that call for a larger machine, many perhaps indeed all the established mathematical operations used by scientists can be performed on the programmer, quickly, efficiently, and at much lower cost than with any other computer. The programmer won't pick the winner for you, but it will settle complex betting calculations quickly and easily.
Katerina racing in the lead on the rails, nearest to us. Altridon is a close second, then Lucas Land and Queen the Troops towards the outside. Starboard Watch is improving fast on the outside. Vibrant.
This, then, is the Olivetti Programma 101, the world's first desktop computer. Take a look at one in action.
So this bad boy was introduced at the 1964-1965 World's Fair, and it cost $3,200 at the time. Adjust that for inflation these days. Pretty expensive, but not as expensive as the mainframes at the time. So yes, this was designed by Olivetti, the Italian manufacturer of calculators and other things at the time. And this is not a calculator. This is actually considered a computer, as they advertised at the time. It's a desktop computer. It was designed by, and I'm going to butcher these Italian names, Pier Giorgio Perotto, who led the design team. There was Gaston Gorzeria, Giancarlo Toppi, and Giovanni Di Sandri. And the case design here, this beautiful, sleek case design, was done by architect and designer Mario Bellini. So he did the case design look and feel. Here's a photo of the prototype unit. So you can see the difference here. But yeah, this bad boy was introduced in 1965 at the World's Fair. It was a huge hit, and they actually sold 44,000 of these units. Most of those, like over 40,000, were sold into the US market. And they were very popular at NASA, where they were actually used to do some calculations for the Apollo 11 moon landing. So, yeah, this bad boy helped us land on the moon. Now, it is a big boy. It weighs 35 kilos, but it is a true desktop unit. This one comes from the University of Adelaide. I'm not sure if anyone worked at the University of Adelaide in the 1960s. Let us know. But yeah, a true desktop unit. It's just got 240 volts mains input, none of that newfangled IEC connector rubbish. But it is a genuine desktop computer. It doesn't have a display. You got all of your output via the internal printer here, and quite revolutionary for the time. It used magnetic card memory that you could actually feed in the top here, and it would shoot out this bottom port down here. And each one of those cards could hold 120 instructions for this thing. We are unfortunately missing a key here. That's probably the power key. And we've got a nice little thumb wheel switch here, which goes up to 11. No, it actually goes up to 15. Maybe that was the number of decimal places, perhaps. But I believe this thing was capable of 22 digits plus sign, plus an additional 2 digits internally. It's got a 36 key keyboard here. The start one feels very nice. These are, this is not feel-o-vision, but they don't go very far. So yeah, I'm not happy with the feel of those. Not terrific. And these ones, these special register keys here, which you use for counters and other stuff like that. There's a big general reset button over here. Just something goes wrong, boop. So your magnetic storage tape went in here where you store your program, so you can record your program to the tape, or you could print your program out. And the only output on this thing was the printer here. So yeah, you got all your program output from that. There was no external display or anything like that at all. It was all on the printer, and still got a ribbon in there. Look at that. Bang, look at that. So yeah, unfortunately we're not going to be able to print anything. I doubt this thing even works. I'm not even going to power it up. Sorry, it's a bit too classic. And yeah, this is just going to be a teardown. You won't be impressed by the specs of this thing. It's 240 effective bytes of memory. It's got 10 general purpose registers. It doesn't have a microprocessor in it. This is complete discrete transistor design. I'm hoping we'll see that when we do the teardown. I haven't torn it down yet, so anyway, this could be interesting. It had working registers here. You could use those for counters and other special functions and things like that. It had basically 16 instructions. So yes, this is a RISC desktop computer, reduced instruction set computer, 16 instructions. And as I said, you could store 120 instructions on those external program cards. And clock rate, well, it's a bit different to clock rate. It had cycle time, because this uses a magneto-restrictive delay line, which I'm hoping we'll take a look at when we take this thing apart. And it had a cycle time of 2.2 milliseconds. So it's physically going to have an actual wire in there that stores the program on it, like a physical wire, a magneto-restrictive delay line. But in 1965, this thing was game-changing. And, well, yeah, it was extremely popular, even though it was, you know, pretty expensive, but not as expensive as the main frames, but everyone lapped it up. Absolutely incredible. And, you know, only sits on a desk, 240 volts in, and it only draws 300 watts. Now, unfortunately, this one here has lost its plastic cover on the front, which did have the Olivetti Programma 101 label on it. But we can do our first bit of teardown by taking that off. That just lifts off. I can see Olivetti on a PCB in the back there. But yeah, this is the 30-column printer mechanism. And, well, for you printer mechanism aficionados, it's all a bit rusty and everything else, but it's got the ink ribbon in there, so, ooh, that feels groovy. Oh, I like it. This little wiring harness all individually sleeved in there. Look at that. Oh, beautiful. What comes out here? I don't know. I can see a cog inside there. That's interesting. It's got an exhaust port. I just love these sleek things on one side. It's not on the other. Adds some asymmetry in it. It seems like this does actually lift up or slide off or do something like that. I'll get back to you. Made in Italy. Hi to all my Italian viewers. And check out these plastic little, like, artistic inserts here, and they've added a bit of, you know, artistic wankery here. Well, you know, it's Italian design. Don't question Italian design. You might think these aren't functional at all, but these are actually transparent windows, and there's actually a lamp behind here, and presumably behind here as well, to light up, like, you know, it flashes when it's like doing stuff, lights up, and presumably red if you get an error or whatever lights up. But essentially, 2 lamps on the thing is base, and the printer is the only output functionality on this thing. Thankfully, someone on the EEVblog forum, of course, found a service manual for me. So thank you very much, and pointed out these 2 screws under here, which I totally did not see. And yeah, the other one was really rusted, but those 2 apparently allow you to slide the back off. So we'll see. All right, well, oh, yes. Beautiful. Oh, look at that. Wow. Yeah, apparently this thing is a servicing nightmare. Do we have a serial number? We may. 34,236. Thank you very much. Out of, as I said, about 44,000 of these were manufactured mostly for the US market. But this one obviously made its way to Australia. Not sure when. Anyway, I suspect that looks flat and large. That could be the magneto-restrictive memory. Whoa. I was hoping to get an easy win for that one. So, yeah, I'm not sure. We can get this back plate off here. And that's to say, this looks like the back plate for the cards. Looks like there's multiple cards in here. Anyway, this is interesting. I'm going to have to get on an angle for this. You can see that we've got a rubber pulley on the side, which is still intact. I don't know if anyone's ever worked on this, but, you know, usually you'd see something like that deteriorate after all this time. I mean, you know, we're talking 1965-ish or late, you know, 66. We're talking 60 years old here. Anyway, that hasn't come-a-gutsa. Oh, well, now it has come-a-gutsa. It came off, but there you go. It's very loosey-goosey on there. There's a big flywheel. Under there, there's a coil. I'm not sure what... Are they using that as a fuse, an inductor, or what? I don't get that. That almost looks like a thermal fuse down there, like a modern thermal fuse, but I don't know. It could be anything, really. A few of these do have transistors on them. You can see metal can under there, metal can under there, but not all of them. Not all of them have the metal cans. That one does, that one does. If I adjust the focus there, you can see there's a metal can under there. And some of them don't have a metal can, like this one doesn't. That's just 4 resistors there. This one doesn't next to it. There's just a couple of diodes, but a good lot of these do have a transistor on them. So these are diode, they're basically DTL, diode transistor logic on there. So yeah, a good lot of them you can see across there, but not all of them. So yeah, that's a very interesting way to mount. I don't think they would have tested each individual one. I mean, transistors were expensive back then. They were a big thing, newfangled transistors. So maybe, I don't know, they were characterizing each one before they sold it in, but it seems like they're doing this more as a routing space-saving thing because PCB density wasn't, a thing back then like it is now. So anyway, that is fascinating. The Arco capacitor fanboys go wild, old school brand. These look like big stud diodes here. That's probably like a rectifier or something like that perhaps, and they're using that big block as a heatsink, I'd guess. And on this side here, it looks like we got a big ass filter. So, well, this is where the inlet vent is. These fancy little ridges that we saw on the side, they were actually inlet vents on the bottom, and doesn't look that dirty, does it? So, not sure how much use this thing's actually had. There's some rust through time, but other than that, yeah, it's not too bad. And a couple of more screws here, and I can lift this off, I think. Yeah, that just comes off. Oh, nicely. So, there you go. There's the filter. They've got the blue and the red filter there, and I don't know, like insulative sheets or something. It's very old school, like calculator, like construction. So like old mechanical calculator type construction. Not surprisingly, Olivetti's a calculator slash typewriter company. 300 milliamp fuse, 500 milliamp fuse. I love how they've like gone to the effort just to mount all those fuses there. Got a giant 3.1 a whopping 3.1 microfarads. Capacitor. It's enormous. It's an Italian capacitor there as well. We'll have a look up closer, but these board-to-board interconnects are really something. Look at that. You don't see board-to-board interconnects like that anymore, but like they got that beautiful solution. Some of them aren't sleeved though, but they've got all these individual, looks like rivet down, or they might be screwed on the other side perhaps, but they look like rivets down there. You can see those down there, and it's obviously some sort of power supply board. That's probably a regulator can under there, like really old school, one of the first regulators. Got fuses galore. This fuse on the side seems like an afterthought, and there's a voltage pot that's Loctited down. So I guess that's the voltage set pot for this power supply, I'd be guessing. The service manual for this thing does warn about this requiring a lot of patience, a lot of bench space if you do want to take this apart further and actually service the thing. I have no plans to do that. This is just, I'm sorry, but we get what we get, and you don't get upset in this teardown here. But look at this, made in Italy capacitor. Look at that. Beautiful. I think it's, 3.1 microfarads. Is that mains voltage? Can't quite see it, but can't quite see the brand there, but they've got like a plastic cover holding that in. It's just beautiful. There's that decimal points, I think it's the decimal point selection wheel there. You can see, maybe right down the bottom there's actually a gigantic tag board. I'm pretty sure that's just a tag board that connects this wiring harness with another wiring harness. So that's interesting. But you can start seeing these are all springs. I won't touch them too much, but these are all little springs here. Okay, so there's a lot of mechanical action happening here. You can see how it's very much like a mechanical calculator, and this general reset here, you can see that spring going down there, it basically resets that whole mechanism. So the general reset, it's kind of like an electromechanical computer, really, especially with the magneto-restrictive delay line memory that we'll take a look at. But yeah, we've got another one of those interconnects here. Basically, these are module interconnects. So this connects the printer module. The other, we saw the power supply module over there. But yeah, this is very old school mechanical. So the start, oh no, yeah, the start still presses, but the other keys don't press even after I reset it. So yeah, I think this keyboard needs some servicing, I suspect, or maybe it's got to be powered up before these, although it doesn't explain why that one goes down and all the others don't travel at all. So yeah, servicing required. And these look like the pulleys for the magnetic card reader, which goes in, the card goes in the top here. It's not a punch card, it's actually a magnetic card. As I said, it can hold 120 instructions on it. So yeah, that is electromechanical, because it's on a card, and it shoots out this chute down the bottom here. So that's it, and that comes out the top, that front access port that we saw on the case. So yeah, fascinating. I'd love to see this thing powered up, but sorry, I'm not going to risk it. This is a museum piece. So there's that entire pulley mechanism, and that's the exhaust vent down the bottom there that we saw. So that's actually coming out. So I think that's just getting the heat out of all the gearing in here, like the motor and the gearing involved in this thing. Because yeah, this is like a mechanical computer that has some digital aspects to it, and it is basically a digital computer. But yeah, it's certainly not what you consider a digital computer these days. As I said, doesn't have a microprocessor, all discrete transistor. It's incredible. So I wonder what's under here. There's some big flywheel thing happening under here, and you know, there's a couple of like sensors on the top here, and I'm not sure what's going on there exactly. So I don't know. I have to look at I haven't looked at any theory of operation or anything yet. Got a specific number plate there. I don't know what that is. Interesting. Oh no, the humanity. Look at that. Capacitor leakage. Oh, that is terrible, Muriel. Oh yeah, definitely not going to power this thing up. Well, you know, this is a 60-year-old capacitor. What do you expect? Just occurred to me that this serial number here could be just the serial number for the magneto-restrictive memory. Hey, unfortunately, I do see some rivets there. Yeah, it's an entire block. Oh, that's a bummer. Oh, it's riveted shut. Oh, no. No. Sorry, I'm not going to destroy this thing. Just to show you the magneto-resistive memory. So I'm going to have to go to some photos. I'll see if I can dig up some photos of the actual memory from this thing. And it's a big it's going to be a big coil, a big delay line coil, nichrome wire in there, and they actually send vibrations through the wire, just like I've done a video on glass acoustic delay lines, which I'll link in if you haven't seen that video. Very fascinating, similar sort of thing, except you can actually store data in nichrome wire if there's, you know, multiple turns in there. I don't know, a dozen turns or something like that. And you send a vibration through, and it takes time for the vibration to go through, and the cycle time that goes through is, like in this particular case, 2.2 millisecond cycle time, and in that time you can actually store data. Well, yeah, that's how they stored memory back in the day, and I believe this is what HP copied, and, well, it was patented by Olivetti, and HP had to pony up $800,000 for the patent rights for this, for the HP 9100. So clearly all of this logic / circuitry here is designed to interface with the memory here. So yeah, they've got 3 lines over here and 2 lines here, even though there's extra tabs on there, they're not soldered. So if I can get any details on this, I'll put it up. Pays to RTFM. Apparently the serial number is here, and the test date is here. So 71, and for the serial number I'm getting 126, This could, yeah, it's hard to see, but I think this is 126. 126. Wow. No way. So shout out to Alberto Rubinelli, who has done the service manual for this thing. I'll link it in down below. You can download it. But it only seems to be focused on like the mechanical side of things. There's no schematics. It doesn't mention any of the PCBs or anything like that. Check this out. The back plate here had 4 screws on the top, but on the bottom, it's got these pins. It's got these little pins, and this one over here is a swing. Oh no, that one does come off too. It just didn't come off very well. But anyway, now we can access the boards, and you can see they're all the same DTL module construction. Oh, the interesting thing to note is you can see the card edge connector here. It alternates on every board. That's because this top board is upside down, and so all the electrons are going to fall out. This bottom one's the right side up. So yeah, they do actually have all this same card edge connector all on the same side. This would be for production testing. Of course, they can test each individual card before they plug them in. But yeah, it's pretty much like a standard, rack mount card construction kind of thing, really. It's just diode transistor logic all the way with LBJ. Look at this. Absolutely incredible. So yeah, not every one of those modules, as I said, contains a transistor. Some of them won't. Some of them will just, be pull-up resistors or whatever, or some extra diode resistor logic. But yeah, there it is. So it'd be interesting to see a schematic for it. So I find it interesting how they decided to go with this little modular individual transistor construction, rather than just trying to mount these all on the same board. As I said, it's probably maybe because they can test each individual transistor perhaps, but that doesn't explain the other ones. And it's not like these are single-sided boards. I mean, there's plated through holes on these boards. These are double-sided plated through boards. So yeah, I don't quite, like, the technology was available then. I know they don't have the same, etching density and stuff, but there's still no reason why you couldn't have laid those resistors flat or even laid them end on and routed it all on the one board. Yeah, but anyway, it's jam-packed, so there's no space left, really. And you can see how the modules on this board stand up, and the modules on this board are they just alternate between each other. So the thing is jam-packed in there. So they made that decision from the start, I guess, and just went with it. And yeah, you could have laid some more resistors flat on the board. I mean, there is actually room under here, right? These are standard 1/4 watt axial resistors. There's room on this board here to mount flat resistors on there. You didn't have to mount everything vertical, but I don't know, they were vertical aficionados, I guess, so vertical it is. Because this is very much like a mechanical computer, on the front end here, it's designed to flip up for servicing. So you just have to get the belt off on this side and one screw out of here and ta-da! Oh, we're in. Beautiful. Oh, you can see the horror that has unfolded on that poor capacitor. Look at that. Oh, it couldn't last the 60 years. It had to come-a-gutsa. And there's a genuine TI 2N4568, 1970. There you go. 30th week, 1970. So that at least dates it past that, which is interesting. So assuming that hasn't been changed, that does actually date this thing past the 1970s. Interesting. There's that tag board I told you about before. There's nothing doing there. It's just a tag, a connection tag strip to actually join that and to join those harnesses together. But yeah, we'll take a better look at that mechanism in a minute. You can see where that pulley that I had to take off there, still intact after all these decades. Still quite remarkable. And there's the drive motor down there for this thing. So all those fuses over there and everything else, that'd just be for the motor operation of this. But it's quite remarkable that those belts have lasted. I won't pretend to understand exactly what's going on inside this thing, but because it is a digital computer, you've got to remember that. But they've coupled it with what is like a mechanical input a mechanical calculator input type mechanism, because it's, it's not too dissimilar to that facet mechanical calculator that we took a look at in a video as well. So you just got like contactors in here, I guess, but yeah, like that reset button would go to a bar inside there, which would like reset everything. This is the chute here for the magnetic card reader, and you can see that that'd be the magnetic head up there like that. So I guess it did it on a strip on the side, did it? I guess there's a micro switch up the top to, tell you when it's inserted or finished or whatnot. But yeah, that is really something, and that certainly is going to need servicing, and that's what this thing's all about. It's all the digital side of this thing. DTL Logic, diode transistor logic, is one thing, but yeah, you gotta maintain this beast, and apparently these are a real horrible experience to work on. So anyway, you can see there's the back of the I can see a bodge in there on the back of the bus, like on the boards there. So it looks like they do actually connect through to a bus system. Just I'm not sure if it's just all vertical or whatnot, or how that works. But yeah, that is fascinating, is it not? So I hope you enjoyed a look at the world's first desktop computer, and hey, flame away in the comments down below. It's not a real digital computer, because I think even the Woz himself said that, oh no, the Altair wasn't a personal computer because it didn't have, no, or is that Don Lancaster? I can't, it might have been Don Lancaster, I can't remember. Anyway, or was it Lee Felsenstein, who I've done an interview with? If you haven't seen that, he's been on the Amp Hour. It's also a video on my channel as well. Link it in, either audio podcast version or the video version. Lee Felsenstein, one of the like big names, apart from like Steve Wozniak. The next biggest name is like Lee Felsenstein, and I think he might have said that, well, the Altair wasn't a true digital, like a true personal computer, because it didn't have color or whatever. Or I know it might have been the Woz who said, oh no, it's got to have color. Mine was the first to have color, therefore it's the first true personal computer, or something like that. Anyway, so everyone's definition, even the early pioneers' definition of what a personal computer is, although I don't think this was advertised as a personal computer, but it was advertised as a desktop computer, which you could use by one person. So they hadn't invented that phrase back then, personal computer. But it was advertised and marketed. They went to it. How much money did they spend on that marketing campaign video for this thing? Like they said, it's a desktop computer. So it's the world's first desktop computer. So there you go, the Programma 101, made in Italy. Hi to all my Italian viewers. If you like that vintage video, please give it a big thumbs up. As always, discuss down below in the comments or over on the EEVblog forum, and check out eevblog.store for all my multimeter merch. Catch you next time.